I'm Leather Rokk. Welcome to my channel. If you notice something on my thumbnail, here, let me give you a closer look. I'm going to show you something about the garden. I'm really ticked off. Maybe you've noticed I haven't been showing any garden footage for the last couple of months. I want to show you something. Do you see anything different behind me? Where that little pedestal is and that bicycle, that's the cat's grave. That's where Cassie the garden cat and Tabby Boy are buried. And do you notice something missing? Do you remember the artificial flowers that were there? And the flowers that I planted? It used to be raised up because extra earth had to be raised in order to bury the animals deep enough. Everything has been yanked out. And I don't know if the landscaper did it or a former friend of mine did it. And I know that this former friend doesn't want me to be saying what I'm about to say, but you know what? All bets are off now. You fuck with the grave of my dead cats and you have an enemy. So, about 3 months ago, when everybody was still friends, I was over there and we were socializing. And let me set this up for you. There's a family involved that one of them actually works in code enforcement. And I know that I've been telling you about the code enforcement problems that this building has been having. And other buildings around here, there is part of a greater war on the poor and the homeless. And so if there are code violations, people sometimes get evicted. And in fact, I know several people who have been evicted as a result of these efforts that are going on to look at distressed properties and properties that have neglect and properties where there's evidence of junkies doing things and what have you. Well, I was socializing and my friend's father came up to me. He'd just come in, and the first thing he asked is if me and my family were getting evicted. And I'm thinking, where did this come from? The only way this man could have heard this is if he had gotten some gossip from code enforcement. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought when you worked on something like code enforcement, you had a vow of not gossiping, not talking to friends and family who might very well talk to other friends, and things might get to people. And there's such a thing as defamation of character. I have never done anything to offend or get on the bad side of anybody in his family. Where that came from, I don't know, but I was absolutely appalled. This was during a time where I thought that maybe we were going to, we were just under serious pressure to do a whole lot of cleaning, and the other person that I live with, I don't mean my mother here, was furiously throwing out a whole bunch of things, mostly of his, but some not his. And I know I told you about the things of mine that I found that were not just thrown in the trash, but that were deliberately torn up. And yeah, and the excuse, I guess, is trying to clean up so code enforcement's happy. Well, anyway, my friend, I guess I must have said the wrong thing to him, because we were walking through the grassy area here, and then the landscaper showed up. And this is a landscaper. He's not even worked here maybe 6 months, I don't know. But when he was mowing things, he mowed down several plants that I grew. I have been growing tomatoes and herbs and spices in this garden probably, I don't know, for the past 6 or 7 years. Some years I grow tomatoes, some years I only do things around the cat's grave. Oh yeah, and the fact that 2 cats are buried here. And I know you have seen Cassie painted on the wall. If you don't remember, I'm about to show you. You see? That's Cassie, my kitty. She was actually painted here by this lady that did the wall mural. This cat was still hanging out around the garden when the mural was painted. So when I said something to the landscaper about my plants being mowed down, we had a whole bunch of plants, let me show you, that were growing up against the fence here. And these things were mowed down. And I was specifically mentioned this. So I said to the landscaper, I complained to him about the things that were taken that I grew, and also some of the things that I planted where my cats are buried. And right away my former friend barked at me and said, "Don't talk to the landscaper." Kind of reminded me of those rich people that tell their guests, "Don't talk to the help." It's like, excuse me, you don't have any right to get highfalutin like this. This is a person who I have been consistently defending in our different friend groups. There's a certain person or two that would call him crazy. And that's really not nice to say to people, especially considering that there are people that might have some intellectual issues or some psychological issues, and you really shouldn't make light of it, and you shouldn't make fun of people for it, and you certainly shouldn't use that as a way to refer to them. That's really, really low form, unless you're talking about certain presidents. But yeah, so then we were also talking about all the dog shit that's in this yard, because the guy who has the dog, who unfortunately he owns some of the property here, so nobody can say anything. And instead of watching the dog shit and pick up manure while he's in the middle of doing it, no, they let it there for like a week or two, and then there's other friends of theirs who have dogs that run around, so it's like a dog park. And my now former friend, he even occasionally stepped in it by mistake himself. Well, that particular evening, he was cleaning up around, and he accidentally touched some dog shit with his bare hand. So what does he do? But he sticks his hand in the bird bath over there to rinse the shit off, thereby putting E. coli in the bird bath. Now, I tried to explain to him that you really shouldn't be having bird baths around, because standing water breeds mosquitoes, and mosquitoes spread all kinds of diseases. And he again raised his voice, barked at me, and says, "Don't touch the bird baths." Well, I guess the bird baths were something his father cares about. The same man that had the nerve to ask me if me and my family were being evicted. Oh, by the way, just so you know, if there's any car beeps, this is the hooker stroll, and the cars that are driving probably think I'm a working girl, just so you know. But then when my former friend was rinsing off his dog shit, and after I said what I said to the landscaper, my former friend started pushing me across the lawn and toward the gate. And of course, he didn't really need to push me, because I was already leaving. I knew that I was about to be thrown out. And so I haven't spoken to him since. And he has left a series of plaintive messages on our voicemail, apologizing. And I had even talked to one of his friends had actually left a message with me, I guess because he'd tried to get him to call on my behalf. And I did talk to the guy, and I explained the situation. And I said that, you know what, the only way that I will ever speak to this guy again is if he goes and gets the landscaper and brings him to me and apologizes to me in front of the landscaper and apologizes publicly to all our mutual friends and admits that he was wrong. Because certain things, it's bad enough to say to somebody by themselves, but when you're going to go and criticize them in person, that's really unacceptable. Okay, I'm going to cross the street so I don't get run over. So, yeah, I bet my ex-friend has probably left 4 different messages. I haven't even really listened to them. I think maybe sometime today I will. I haven't even slept last night, because I was going to go to bed, but when I saw that those plants were taken down, and every evidence of the fact that that was my cat's grave was missing, and you know that wasn't accidental. And so if he thought I was mad before, I'm fighting mad. I am so angry. I'm filming this at 7:18 in the morning. You know, not usually my kind of morning. And I'm very angry now. I guess I'm going to be leaving a very angry message with him, because I don't know quite how I am going to approach this because I consider certain things unforgivable. I don't know that I could ever salvage this friendship because I noticed about once a year this guy goes on the deep end and he goes, the old saying, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I realized that what you tolerate just increases. The only way to teach a person a lesson when they have really done you wrong, you have to put your foot down. You have to set boundaries. You have to love yourself enough to say, look, what you did was unacceptable. I don't believe I can forgive it. And it's a shame because it's nice having local friends. Most of my friends are long distance. They live in other states. I have friends all over the world. And I was not, since in a post 9/11 world, I really wasn't very good at making lots of new friendships that are here in my hometown. And I'm thinking, really, what's the point? If I know that at least intellectually I'm on my way out anyway, that I don't really want to stick around any longer than necessary. So if some old friendships have to die, then so be it. But I don't need to take the abuse. I don't need to take the disrespect. And I don't know what's up with the people that they're hiring there. I really tried to be a good friend. This one other person that manages a lot of work crews over there, he is a flaming drunk. And I don't mean flaming like flaming. I mean extremely drunk. And I think that's a bad influence for the people that I know, such as my former friend who is trying to stay sober. And that's another thing. I've always supported my friends whenever they've committed to being clean and sober, especially things involving alcohol, which I'm going on 20 years away from. And I support anybody that wants to improve their health and their safety by refraining from certain things that are no longer serving them. But I can't abide by the disrespect. And now that the cat's grave, as far as I'm concerned, has been desecrated. And it used to raise up some. The soil was built up, and it's much flatter. I don't know if the animals' carcasses were dug up. I wouldn't put it past them. Honestly, I don't know. The German Shepherd is in the yard, and even though the German Shepherd seems to tolerate me, maybe even likes me, I don't feel like opening the gate. I don't feel like interacting with them. I don't feel like even being seen on that property. I don't see the point. But it's really unacceptable. And now my cat's grave doesn't even look like a cat grave anymore. And I remember when they told me that I could have a memorial, like a monument of some kind of stone, as long as it wasn't bigger than 6 or 8 inches. And every time I thought of putting something there, I always figured that there was a chance that somebody would come off and steal it. Like if I put cat statues or something, I could see where that would be tempting to people. But there is no need to take my flowers away. There's no need to pull up or allow to die the things I had growing over there. Especially when they use irrigation there and the guy goes with a hose. There is no need for that. I heard that there is going to be the wall muralist was going to add some more to that, and I have a feeling she's going to see the dog and put the dog there. And, I have no say in this. I am no longer associated with that garden. I really highly doubt that you're going to see me there ever again. And I don't know whether those idiots that I'm complaining about are even going to see this, and they might, and they probably won't like it. Ask me if I give a damn. There's going to probably be a lot of people that are angry at me because I have this channel, and I have my axe to grind about things, and I think I have every right to. I know there's probably going to be a few people saying, what do you have to get on the internet for? Well, because I have a channel, and I have a platform, and I can. I'm doing it because I can. I've been wronged, and yes, it makes me feel a little better to vent about it. And they need to know, and I'm sure they're going to see this eventually, they need to know that certain behavior is not acceptable. And you can't treat people the way they treated me. I was always nice to them. I always was. There's just no need to do that. And as far as code enforcement goes, they have places, alleyways where people use as restrooms, they do number 2 and number 1. They have places that have all kinds of needles and all kinds of paraphernalia pertaining to heroin and crack and all these things. And that has nothing to do with us. Why don't they deal with those problems? They don't need to be harassing innocent families and blaming families for things that are going on in the neighborhood. I heard there was a rumor being spread around that I was breeding mice and selling them. I mean, really. Like, who would I sell these mice to? People who own snakes? Really? It's unreal. I'd like to know when those flowers were taken down. He hasn't heard the end of me. I just might possibly leave a message for him, and I will be the proctologist, and he will be the butthole. Because people haven't really seen me angry, and I'm fucking pissed. Alright, I said what I had to say. If your animals are buried someplace, I hope nobody desecrates your graves. And if you have gardens anywhere, I hope you don't have some dog shitting in it. Must be fun, all the E. coli on your fruits and vegetables. You know what? I don't care. They're dead to my eyes now. Alright. Said my piece. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.